So let me kind of set the stage before we get started, right? Typically, the chair of the meeting is the mayoral appointee, but we don't have a mayoral appointee at this time. So I need one of you guys to put your hand up and say you want to be chair of the meeting. Who wants to be the chair? Leonard. I think they just made Leonard.
Okay.
And Mr. Howard just looked down there and said, yeah, him. Yeah, that's good. So we'll make you honorary chair. We will ask for you very quickly to make a vote on that, and then that'll identify the chair until we have a mayor's appointment. And when that happens, we'll shift over from there. So I'll have a vote to make the mayor's appointee the chair, and then we'll move on from there. Okay? So with that, we're going to ask our nominated chair, Mr. Redway, to open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, please stand.
And flags are here? And there, you're right. Yeah, I'm doing the council stuff. Everybody, okay.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Perfect timing. Roll call. Perfect. So you're gonna pull that over? Yeah. Communications from staff. I'll start and I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
Commissioner Gabriel
No,
Hernandez?
no, we're gonna, this is a roll call, so you're gonna call for the roll call, right? So, Chair, you would normally call for the roll call, and then she'll go down the list, okay?
Okay, so we
And
will,
just so you understand, the order is typically, so we're doing a little training. The order is District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4, then the mayor's appointee. And since we don't have one, you don't have to say anything for the mayors. All right, so
okay, so we will call roll.
Commissioner Leonard Redway?
Here.
Commissioner Gabriel Hernandez? Commissioner Don Nicholson?
Here.
Commissioner W.G. Howard Jr.?
here.
And we've already,
And please speak in your microphones.
we've sort of already honorarily voted on the chair.
We're
so we
gonna
need to
actually vote on
go-
it.
Okay, so we'll have to need to, well, someone needs to make a motion.
So we're gonna, a couple of things, the mics are sensitive and we're live now, so we wanna make sure you speak into the mic and give me the voice. Just so that the audience can hear, I want you to know that all of these commissioner meetings are broadcast. So I wanna, make you aware that what you're saying is in the public record. So there is nothing that's going to be censored out. It's completely for the public. And then, and as long as you do that, then I think we're going to be good. What I do need is we're going to need, and I'm going to help you out. I know you probably conducted. We're going to need a motion, somebody just to move that Commissioner Redway be the chair for this meeting. And then I need a second, and then she's going to call for the vote. Okay? So whoever wants to make that motion.
I'll make the motion that,
Use your microphone, please.
sorry. I'll make the motion that
Commissioner
Commissioner Redway.
Redway.
Commissioner Edwards
Redway.
Redway is be the speaker for
Chair.
this meeting.
For the chair.
I second the motion.
Good. Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Leonard Redway?
Aye.
Commissioner Gabriel Hernandez?
Aye.
Commissioner Don Nicholson?
Aye.
Commissioner W.G. Howard?
Aye.
Now you go to communicate.
Okay. So communications from staff, are there any communications for us?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Acting Chair for the day.
Honorary for the day.
First of all, let me start. My name is Chris Jackson. I'm the Director of Development Services. Within my department sits the Planning Division, Building Safety, and Code Enforcement. Those are three divisions that I oversee as a department director. I'm excited about the fact that we are finally here. And the reason I am is because I've been with the city now going on 16 years, and we've never had a construction appeal board meeting at all that I'm aware of, and I certainly, the building official who you'll hear from shortly, attests to the same thing during his tenure. So one of the things I would say that we want to do is we want to make sure, at least my goal, is to make sure that all our commissions are active. These are appointed positions. The council person for the district appointed you to operate in this capacity. I will say we don't anticipate that we're going to have very many meetings, but we will have at least 2 per year. So I want to give you a heads up that so this will become a bit of a routine. One of the things that prompted me really looking underneath the hood and working with our building official is that now as the city is really blossoming, as we've grown significantly from where we were before, there will be probably situations that arise where staff can't come to an agreement with a developer over a myriad of issues. Building official Mandir Singh is going to discuss some of these things. And when that happens, that's where you come into play. So he'll share with you kind of what that process looks like. And you're going to be listening to the facts. This is not a pro-city type of environment. It really is looking at the details and determining what's reasonable and what you think makes the most sense. And as you look at not only just common sense, but also the law. So those two things are things we're going to be dealing with. And as I said, our building official will share a little bit more of that. But I want to, first of all, thank you for your service to the city. Every commission has a very important role, and they're going to be amplified as time goes along and we begin to see all the myriad of issues. Inglewood's been sleepy for a long time. Well, we're awoke now. As you all know, if you looked at your property values, you know we're awoke. And we're in alignment with a lot of other cities, and we're going to be dealing with a lot of those types of issues that we haven't had to deal with for some time. I will remind you, knowing a little bit of history about the city, this city was a bustling, active, engaged city for decades. And then we went through a bit of a lull. And that's what, at one time, this city, was called a jewel of the South Bay for a reason. And so we were shining bigger than cities like El Segundo or Manhattan Beach or Redondo Beach. Inglewood was, you see our city hall. We have, within all of the South Bay cities, we have the most impressive city hall and our courts that are here as well. So again, I want to thank you all for your service. I'm looking forward to get to know you a little bit more, get you engaged with some things that are going on in the city, some exciting things that I'd love for you to participate. We got this thing called Intuit Dome that's going to be opening up really soon. It'd be really cool to have you out at the grand opening of the Intuit Dome to experience some of that. We have other projects that are also happening as well, and have you have some exposure with that. Lastly, and I'll hand the mic over to our building official, I want to really thank Leonard. Leonard and I spent a pretty significant amount of time with each other on a trip, dealing with water reclamation and whatnot. And he impressed upon me, he really is a big part of why I was so emphatic about making sure that we had this meeting. So if you're upset with this meeting, talk to your acting chair, because he started this. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to our building official, Mr. Mandir Singh.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, and thank you for being here, all the commissioners. I just wanted to go over just some brief, overview of what the Construction Appeals Board is and why. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Mandir Singh, been here with the city now, it'll be 26 years come this year. Yeah, so I started in 98. And started in building safety as an engineer, And so roughly about 12 plus years ago, became building official, and been here ever since. So
Congratulations and thank you. Really.
thank you. Yeah, it's been a great experience, and the city has obviously changed throughout my tenure, and very exciting where it's going. So, but anyway, so on the construction appeals board, just wanted to kind of basically just give you an overview. I mean, you have the paperwork in front of you. I just wanted to kind of go through it if you have any questions. Generally speaking, the construction appeals board meets for decisions. If there are decisions taken by building safety or myself. I mean, they refer to the building official because I had the building safety division, but it could be the deputy building officials, which are the other folks within the division. Yeah, and so if they have a question or a disagreement regarding any opinion that we've given, they may come and appeal something. Generally speaking, I mean, one of the reasons we've never had this meeting, and nowadays I've noticed a lot of cities don't have it, but some do, is because we have this concept of alternate methods and materials review, AMMR. So if there's sometimes things in the industry that are new or different that are not encapsulated in the code because the code, it goes through a 3 to 4 year review cycle and changes. So in that aspect, we are able to look at something and say, hey, this is equivalent, this is okay or not okay, you can justify it. And all the stuff that we've gone through has any questions that folks have had in terms of, particularly materials, they've been able to get it through the AMMR method. So I think that's one of the reasons we don't meet as frequently nowadays. I think in the past it was a little bit more different. I think the building department used to be like, do it this way or the highway type thing. So, and the code has also become a little bit more fluid, more performance-based rather than prescriptive. The code used to be very prescriptive. This is what it is, and this is how you do it. And now it's performance, meaning it gives you the leeway for the designer or the engineer to be able to make certain decisions which are, appropriate based on the technology at hand. So I think then so basically that's an overview of, for the appeals board, why they would meet. We would have, we currently don't have an application form, but we will create one. We haven't had a need to. So if in case somebody does want to appeal, we'll have an application form for folks. And then, you'll be made aware of it. You will set a time, and usually I think typically we'll check with our legal folks, but I think there's a certain time frame, like 20 days. Within 20 days, we have to meet after the application is there. There's typically a fee, but that's again more of a finance thing. So once that's done, and then the commission would meet and make a decision one way or the other, and the decision is
Yeah, I just want to add.
Yeah.
I just want to add in. I like tag team. Yeah, everybody knows me. I like tag team. Right. Just to emphasize that in a situation where there is an appeal, we put together a staff report. It will address. It'll come out of the building division. It'll address what the issues are, what the concerns are, what staff's position is on it. And then in there will also be a resolution. That resolution will state, what we believe should happen. But you always control the outcome as the board. So you're able to say, we agree with staff, we don't agree with staff. If you don't agree with staff, then we go back and we'll revise our resolution, and then we'll return to you with a resolution that you can approve. And when once that's approved, it's signed by the chair and the secretary for the board, right? And then there's minutes that are generated. There'll be minutes generated from this hearing as well that you'll be able to review as a record of action. And that's important because I believe there may be even another level of appeal. I'm not sure if it goes all the way up to the city council or not. But if it is, that'll be all baked into the resolution that you would all be agreeing to, signed by the chair and the secretary for the board. Just want to add that little nuance. So it's not like we're just gonna show up and start talking about some stuff. You'll get that packet.
Yeah.
Typically, if we're meeting on Tuesday, you'll get it usually Friday before. That gives you typically enough time to read it, consume it. You have Monday, pretty much Monday, depending on when we land on all of our meetings. I think we're landing on Tuesdays now. You have Monday, you can reach out to staff and have a conversation. What is this? I don't get it. I don't understand. And we'll walk you through it. And typically, I instruct my staff when there's questions that come from a board member or commission member, I want my staff to be to really be neutral. So it really is to answer the question you're asking, not advocating for one side or the other, right? So you never have to feel like, as a board member, as a commission member, that you know you're going. There may be times where you go against staff. You just say, okay, it doesn't mean you don't like us. It just means you disagree, and that's okay. And when that happens, also, I want you to feel comfortable to have that dialogue with staff. While I say that, there is some important kind of things you need to take care of, and we'll discuss that a little bit more in depth. But it's called a Brown Act. And the Brown Act, we didn't include that in here, or did we? I don't think we did.
Not in their packet.
We'll get you a copy of the Brown Act. And the Brown Act, I'll give you the synopsis. One is just that any discussions that go on, you can't do it in an environment where you have quorum. In the case of the commission, this commission, there's 5 of you, generally speaking, which means 3 is a quorum, which means I don't recommend that you call each other and have dialogue with each other about any action that you're going to take, but you by no means can have 3 of you together discussing it. That's a violation of the Brown Act. So we're going to make sure that you're aware of that. That's why just kind of from a commissioner, you're acting in an independent manner. You're not actually acting on behalf of your district. So I want you to understand you're appointed by your council person, but you're really acting on the best interest of the city. You're just like the council, their actions are overarchingly citywide. Yes, there's times where things are going to affect your district, but that's where you have to look at it what's best for the city. So I just want to let you know to think about that if you have to render a decision, and we'll touch those issues if we cross them as well. So I just wanted to bring that into focus.
You keep saying staff. Who is staff?
We are.
Who's we? Just the 2 of you?
No. We have staff is all city staff, and you can answer the question for your division.
Yeah, so sort of the staff, in our case, or in my case, would be the building division staff, meaning we house plan check engineers, inspectors, front counter staff, administrators. So that's general term for staff that we use.
And the staff report comes out of my department. So it's generated through the building division, so they'll write over what the appeal issue is. It'll come through my hands.
Yeah.
He'll sign it off generally, but I'll be presenting it to you. And when I mean presenting it to you, I'll be presenting a staff report, not presenting the presentation, but the staff report itself. But it will come out of his staff. It'll be generated by his staff.
So that staff would investigate a situation,
Right.
determine what is potentially best for the city. You would compile that and say, this is what we at staff think is best for the city.
Yeah.
I can explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I can explain. The situation comes up, we've, let's say, done a review of a project, a plan check review, and when somebody submits plans to us,
Right.
we do a review, and let's say we have commented on a certain part of the plan, that it needs to be X based on this code. The applicant or the engineer, architect, whoever, disagrees. And they may then have the choice to appeal that to you. And on your behalf, we will provide the staff report and explain the code of and our reasoning behind of what we did and why we asked the person what we did. On your side, the Construction Appeals Board has to decide based on the code. You cannot decide based on what you like or don't like. It has to be, your decision has to be based on code. So that's one of the differences perhaps with some other commissions. So that's the sort of the linchpin. Now, if the code is, sometimes there's gray area and et cetera. So that's where you can.
And this is where it gets interesting because staff is going to prepare a staff report. The staff report is going to come to you. You'd be looking it over, asking questions. You'll call staff. What does this mean? What does that mean? But when we get to the hearing, the developer or the architect or engineer, they'll be able to present their side. So they're going to also provide you with their version, why they believe that you should overturn staff's decision. And then you'll listen to those things and you'll talk amongst yourself and then you'll render a decision. That's simple as that. There may be times when the decision involves more information. You might continue it to the next meeting and say, we want to continue it, give us a chance to digest what we're hearing. One of the things that I will try and attempt to do, I can't say I'm going to be successful or we're going to be successful with that all the time, is we will try to include in our staff report their argument.
Yeah.
So it won't be, you'll hear our argument, of course, but we'll also include, and how we will include it is we'll ask them to provide it.
Yeah.
So it's not our interpretation of what they're saying, but and we'll put it as an attachment, and you'll be able to look through that as well, right? Now the question is, should you reach out and talk to the applicant team about that? And that's where the applicant, well, the architect or the engineer team in this
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
and that's where we have our city attorneys not here today, but they'll have a representation going forward that you'll be able to call the city attorney and say, hey, I'm thinking about calling them to get a little insight over there. What do you think? And they'll advise you. City attorney will tell you. I can tell you can call staff, no question about it. But when you get into having a discussion with the applicant team, that's where I always advise you to talk to the city attorney's office. They'll let you know whether it's okay. More than likely, they're going to say okay, but do not discuss your decision with them. Do not discuss what you're going to do with them, because then you may get into a conflict of interest.
Because I don't want to get stuck on it, but mostly structural is codified. That's codified
Yeah.
structurally what has to happen.
Yeah.
But when you get into site restoration, paving, aesthetics, they become very, very subjective at that point.
And you won't be dealing with aesthetics. You won't have it'll all be code based, right?
Paving?
Yeah, you more than likely you won't be dealing with paving related issues and stuff.
Very unlikely.
More than likely it will become. Here's a good example. Actually, Mr. Singh brought it up. Alternate methods.
Materials, yeah.
We've disagreed on that. So they've come up with. You can share how we've.
Yeah.
How that would work, because there's a great example where it might come to
Might
them.
come, yeah.
So
Let's say they want to use a material that's not listed, for example, and they say, okay, well, we've got a listing from Germany, TUV listing rather than a UL listing, and so
and TUV is
it's a German.
and UL is
UL is American.
and what does it stand for?
Underwriters listing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know we do. Yeah, I like it.
So product-wise, they may have some material that they want to use, and then we'll review it. A lot of times, if we find out that the TUV listing and the testing method was very similar to the UL, we may approve the product. I mean, it's maybe happened once or twice, but I'm just using as a general example.
Understood, yeah.
And, but if not, then we'll say, hey, the two listings and the two do not jive, and they don't agree with each other in terms of its testing method, so we can't approve this. So either you have to get a UL listing, get it privately listed, obviously it costs money to do that, or use a different product. So, and generally, yeah, and then, but if they disagree, then they'll come to you. Yeah. So, and then, we'll present their argument in the staff report to you, and of course, the reasoning behind what we say. So, and then again, I just want to reiterate, because, I mean, we haven't met in the last 26 years, so I envision hardly into something, but you never know, something does come up. There's, we're a burgeoning city in terms of new stuff, so sometimes folks want to push the envelope and try something that's, but that's their prerogative. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, a lot of my discussions when I get in my role as director it gets into the legal discussions, and you're dealing with their attorneys and those types of things. And so we always want to make sure in situations like that we're allowing them, the ability to be able to exercise all of their remedies, right? So if we can't resolve an issue, I'm under an obligation to say to them, well, you can appeal it to the Construction Appeal Board. You can do that. Reason is because they can't simply go to a lawsuit if they were going to do that, because that's usually what would happen, without exercising. And we would have our issue because we didn't tell them that it was available to them. Now, generally, most of them know it's there, but they try and work things out with staff because they realize that's a slippery slope. Takes a long time, delays your project. There's a number of reasons why. But I've been in cities, I've worked for cities where it was just all litigious. And that was the game that was played for a myriad of reasons, some of which had nothing to do with the project. So I think we're entering in a zone of where we need to at least make sure we're prepared for that.
Right. Thank you.
I have a question concerning the building code. Is it available online, or is Inglewood just adopting the California code?
We are adopting the California code, and it is available online. If you want to have a searchable version, you have to pay for it.
Okay.
But that's the sort of the free public access is, you have access, but you can't really you just have to go page by page.
And that's actually a good point, because what we will do, and I'll work with the building official, we'll make sure you have access to it, and you can search it. You'll have all the tools available to you to be able to use.
I'm good, actually. Thank you so much. Yeah. Robert's rules.
So one thing I thought we should do, since you asked who was staff, this is our first meeting. No one knows anybody. So maybe we can just go around and everyone introduce themselves, say something about where they work or the type of business or something that they're in, so everybody can kind of know who's who. Sure. If we could start on the end.
My name is Anita Castellanos. I'm the management assistant for building and safety. I've been working for the city for over 30 years. Oh, this is Vanessa Scrub. She's our staff assistant for building and safety.
So we know where to find all the good information.
Staff.
Okay.
My name is Evangeline Lane, and I work with the planning division, but I am in the department of Mr. Jackson. And so I am assisting on tonight, since this is our first official meeting. But from now on, you will see both Vanessa and Anita.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Commissioner W.G. Howard Jr. Excuse me. I have been on Construction Appeal Board under Councilman Rep. Franklin, and I think the last meeting that I was involved with has been 6-7 years probably, and that was I think with this case in regarding park and recreation.
Oh, on the park side.
Yeah. So it was pretty fun. I forgot a whole lot of techniques about this and that and so forth because we wasn't, as you said, we wasn't meeting often. Just when needed call. So and I'm retired from Pacific Bay or AT&T now, and for about 20 years, I think. And been having some health issues in the last 2 or 3 years. But I'm here to serve the city, and I'm the block club captain of my neighborhood, which is Chanera Avenue Block Club in District 4.
Okay.
And I love City of Inglewood. Been here since a little 40-something years in the resident I'm in. I'm original Texan, so if my slurs get a little unusual, then that's my reason. And I have to address my wife there. She's helping me out.
Okay.
Name is Lunchelle, but you can call her Lunny. Yeah. So anyway, we're very happy with the city of Inglewood. Watch a lot of change and things grow and improve. And I guess that's about all I have to say. Thank you.
All right,
Nice to meet you.
Very good. Thank you so much.
All right.
My name is Don Nicholson, 70 years old, born in Crenshaw, Adams, lived in LA all my life. We lived in our house on 97th and Myrtle for the past 42 years. I've been with Southern California Gas Company for 43 years. I'm a capital inspector. I inspect installations, welds, abandonments, damages, repairs of Southern California Gas Company's underground facilities. That's why I asked about paving, and that I'm working with Metro Rail now. I retired, and they called me back to work for the gas company, so that was a good thing. I'm really interested in infrastructure because there's two things we have here at the city. We have people and we have infrastructure. And our infrastructure is very, very important. Paving is important, potholes. What you see when you go down Century Boulevard and go under the 405 freeway, that's part of infrastructure. All that is part of this. So I'm here to offer my services and my expertise in pipeline operations and paving choices and different paving techniques. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Like I said, I've been pipelining for 43 years. Not much I haven't done, but I think it's going to be. I think we'll do well. And I do realize that, and staff will attest that contractors are motivated by money. They don't do what they do as a hobby. They want to make money at this, and their feet have to be held to the fire to give us here in the city what we think is best for the city. Not what's best for them, but what is best for the city. So anything I can do, please just let me ask. I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Gabriel Hernandez. I lived here in the city, 45 years too. Like over 45 years. First, all District 2. First on Hyde Park, the Hyde Park side, District 2, and now over here by La Tijera School, still the District 2. So I started here with Alex Padilla a little bit right after he got elected. And then what I do, long ago I started off as a TA back in the 90s in Lenox, and then, substitute teacher, the whole steps. Then I was a teacher for LAUSD down over there by you, over Mid-City area. But it was more Adams and Hauser. Yeah, I was there, Marvin Avenue, I was there a good 12 years. And then the last 8 years, I've been working for the Lawndale School District as a speech pathologist. So I got into special education when all those things started moving. And yeah, so we're here. I have a daughter, but I've always seen the city. I saw the '80s, which probably was the hardest. The '80s, the '90s was like when we went through some heavy stuff, you know. And if you saw that stuff, you lived that stuff, you know, it became like the ghetto part became the cool talk. And no. Then the 2000s came, started changing, and then we're here now, and we got to keep it moving. So
Absolutely.
that's what I'm here.
Right. Thank you. So there's a lot of difference. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. So Crenshaw and Adams and Hauser, Marvin, right?
Yeah.
I was born on Gear.
Oh,
My parents still live on Gear to this very day. So
See,
I was
there you
born in
go.
that house
Yeah.
on Gear Street. So
Oh, really?
so
That's
we're,
still there?
so we're really all from the same place now here in Inglewood. I guess I'm the baby of the group. I've only been here 20 years. So a lot of 40-year residents. I'm a developer and contractor by trade, specifically a mechanical contractor. A contributor for IAPMO, which is the Association of Mechanical Engineers, Contractors, and I have been in business the last 27 years. I've had a few dealings with you in plans and things over the years, so you've always been nice. Thank you. When I had questions and couldn't get things put through. But other than that, just pleased to serve the board in any way that I can and whatever specialties I might need to add. I'm also a former Local 250 and Local 78, so you're a pipeliner. I went through school there, so that's me.
Okay. Wow. Actually, this is fantastic hearing the various backgrounds. It's unfortunate sometimes you have commissioners that have served with each other for a decade and don't know much about each other. And one of the things that I'm going to try and do my very best, we are going to try and do our very best is to make sure that you all get a chance to know each other. And I think that's very important to create that kind of bond and alignment that allows you to make the best decisions for the city. I've been with the city, I started out, been with the city now for going on 16 years. So I'm a baby as well. We like baby. Grew up in you guys may have heard Nixon Gardens housing project. That's where I grew up and ended up going to school, bust out to school, did 112th Street School, 112th and Central Avenue Elementary, and then bust out to Sequoia Junior High School in the Valley. I was part of that kind of early busing program. So I was the experimental pig, right? And in a lot of different ways. I'll tell you some stories. Um, Graduated there, went to Cal Poly Pomona, started out in architecture, ended up in urban and regional planning, and that's my career launched from there. I've worked for a lot of cities. Yeah, you can go on and look at the bio on the website, kind of tell you about that. But one of the things that impressed me about the city, I knew it was going to transform. I knew it. So when I had the opportunity to be able to come back here, people thought I was nuts. They thought I was ruining my career. You're going to Inglewood? You're leaving Santa Clarita to go to Inglewood? Are you crazy? But I knew what was going to happen. If you looked at it from a demographic standpoint, if you looked at it just from economics, it was just an eventuality. And when it happened, I knew it was going to happen big. Because one of the things about cities like Inglewood, when they have amazing leadership, when you have the right mix, you can turn things around in an amazing way. And I think what we've seen is and this is a plug to our mayor and the council. When I started, Mayor Dorn was here. We had that leadership. And then when I was about to leave, Mayor Butts came in, and my really kind of claim to fame is I met with the mayor before I was about to leave, and I I kind of looked at him, and I believed he was going to do what he said he was going to do, and that was the decision to stay, and it was an amazingly great decision because you've seen all of these things happen. I've been proud to be a part of some of those things and making these things come into fruition. Um, I started in the planning division as a planner and literally worked my way up. I've been director now for about 6 years, somewhere around 6 years here. And it's my honor to lead a great staff of overall staff of a little bit over 40 folks who are in the department. We manage a pretty substantial budget. The super graphic stuff you see, all the billboards, all that stuff flows through our department. And then, of course, we have code enforcement. So planning is really about entitlement and getting it, the pretty pictures and all that kind of good stuff done. Building is the structural part, is to make sure it doesn't fall down. We just had an earthquake. I was here on the 9th floor. We had the earthquake the other day. And it's because of the building division that we don't see the catastrophic things we see in other countries, right? And particularly here in California, because we're in earthquake land, our standards are higher than any other state in the union, as a matter of fact. And I'm proud of that because it means that we set the tone for what other portions of the country are now dealing with. Like they've never seen it before, earthquakes in some of these places. They never encountered it. Now they're talking to us about those things. We've been oceanfront property. We know what it is. We have a coastal commission, all those things in the cities that are adjacent to it. But for them, some of these things that they're going to be experiencing are new. I'm a father of 7, four boys, 3 girls. I'm glad to say I have a lot of degrees that I've paid for over the years. And I have my daughter. She's my wife, Tracy, and I. We live in the city, so I'm local. So it means it has that extra meaning to me because I'm not only an employee here, but I actually vote for what goes on here as well. And we have election coming up, and some of these things that are happening with us regionally, where I'm participating in that from a local standpoint. That's important. So with that, I think I'll turn it over to Mandir.
Like I said, I've been here 26 years now. It will be this year. I grew up in Lakewood. When I came here to the country, I was about 12 from India. And I went to Long Beach Poly High School. Go Jackrabbits.
The land of Snoop, right?
That's right. Yeah. He was, Snoop Dogg was, I think, 1 year behind me or 1 year ahead. We didn't know him then. He wasn't famous. Actually, Cameron Diaz we knew. She was also, I think, a couple of years behind us. Her we knew more because I think she had already started doing some stuff. Anyway, I did my engineering, my civil structural engineering at Cal State Long Beach. And then I worked in private for a while, did more like hospital design stuff, a little different type of stuff. And then got a chance to, just sort of in a way on a fluke come, let's go, apply to a city. And so here I am. I really enjoyed it, like the broad aspect of it, it's not just structural design, you're looking at electrical, mechanical, plumbing, a lot of stuff now. It's green code, energy code. I mean, it's just everything. The code started off like this. Now it's like this when I first started. So that's exciting in itself. And so it's been great being here. Oh, wife, kids, of course. Yeah, married and 2 kids. Daughter's 18, sons will be 15.
You're almost done.
And he's an amazing golfer too. He makes me look. He golfs like it's not even fair.
Well,
Oh yeah, I want to one other part, and then still under this section. In your packet is also the Robert's Rules of Order. I'm going to give you the 5-minute version of it. Robert's Rules of Order is designed to keep the meeting moving. It's designed to do things in a programmatic way. Most of you, if you haven't been involved with organizations, we just talked about it before. There's a motion, there's a second, there's questions before you actually vote. And so we'll make sure that the chair has that laid out, what that kind of process looks like. We also work with our administrative staff to make sure that they're helping us flow through that. But some of the things, there's a lot of stuff in this that gives you the background of where Robert's Rules of Order came from. I'm involved with almost all the organizations. I'm in several fraternal organizations, several professional organizations, everybody use Robert's Rules of Order. So if, the Senate, the Congress, um, Robert's Rule of Order, oh, they don't have a copy of this?
No, it's not in here, but we'll.
They don't have a copy, right? Robert's.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll get
so
it.
I apologize, I thought this was in their copy. Yeah, so we're gonna make sure you guys get a copy of this so that you can see it. I've been parliamentarian for a lot of organizations over the years, and really the one thing that I think is important about Robert's Rules of Order is the purpose. Robert's Rules of Order is to move the meeting. So it's not to become the gatekeeper of the meeting or to quibble over. I'm in a fraternal organization that literally quibble over Robert's Rules of Order and whether, your point of order, point of clarification, you're out of order, all that kind of stuff. That's not what we're trying to do. We just want you to be able to make motions, second them, have discussions, understand what it is to rescind your motion. Friendly amendments aren't part of Robert's Rules of Order, but we accept them all the time. So again, if the purpose is to move the meeting, we want to move it in a format that we can put down in the record so that everybody understands we're following a format. We're going to make sure you guys get copies of this. You can reach out to me. Don't reach out to this guy. Reach out to me if you have any questions, because he's just going to call me. And then I'm gonna have to explain it to you and stuff. But I think some of the basic stuff he certainly is. But he was looking at me like, no, you do that. So we do believe, finally with this, I'm a big proponent, and I believe we are a big proponent of subject matter experts. We believe that if you bring that to the table, we need to listen to you. So you're talking about pipeline, you're talking about infrastructure, electrical engineering. That becomes important. What does that mean for a commission? It means that you don't have to know everything, and it's very important to understand it. It's because a lot of times you're there to be really, as much as we have the laws and we have the standards and we have all that stuff, but you're there to be the voice of reason. You really are. You're there to be kind of the common man or common woman, so to speak, right? And you get to adjudicate that from that standpoint, right? So yeah, staff sometimes going to come in very heavy. Every now and then you might hear the attorneys say, well, you can't do that. Well, everybody here advises you as a commission. We don't instruct you. That's very important for you to understand, right? The legal folks who I have great admiration for, they're advisors. But you have the say-so to determine what you think is best. Why do I say that? Because there's a judicial process that can be undertaken to deal with those questions as well. So just because you say it doesn't mean necessarily it's going to be the final word, as some of you know. Sometimes there is a higher authority. It's called the Supreme Court of the United States of America, right? And we also have a California Supreme Court that deal with local court-related issues. So feel comfortable. You don't have to know everything. You just asking the questions and then making the best decision. And that's all you can do, is make the best decision you can make. So with that, that'll conclude we'll circle back and have a little bit more deeper dive on the Robert's Rules of Order if you see fit. You might not need that, but if you want to, we can dig into that the next time. I'm certainly available to answer any questions as we go along. So I'll turn it back over to you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're just going to move through the agenda. I don't know if we have public comment, but we'll go to the public comment section regarding any agenda items. Persons wishing to adjust the Construction Appeals Board on any item on the agenda may do so at this time. And seeing that we don't have any public, we will move on.
I want to
Oh,
just
go ahead.
interject. Typically, we will have as number 8 commissioners' concerns. So going forward, that'll be added. And you can feel free if there's things that you're seeing, if there's things you're concerned about, even inside or outside of your scope. So for instance, you were talking about public utilities and infrastructure. We have no problem going to talk to Parking and Traffic Commission and have those discussions. I do that with the Planning Commission as well. So we will cross-pollinate. There may be things that come to you from other commissions. So feel comfortable with that. Don't think you're restricted to just having a conversation about what you actually cover. So this is really just to help us do the best job we can. So if there are any concerns, we're available. We're here.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question or concern with it. Since we all new, strangers to one another, uh, would we have materials or information concerning the staff, phone numbers and so forth?
Absolutely, we'll provide that to you.
So that way, when we get back in our own world, let's say, and something comes up, says, well, I think this might be beneficial for the members. I'll call so-and-so and so-and-so. So that was my concern there.
Yeah, and just just real quickly, one of the things that you will get, and we're going to work on this, you'll get a book in a binder. You'll have Robert's Rules of Order in there. You'll have the materials, a duplicate set of the materials you have in there. You have contact information in there. We'll also put some city-related issue in there that kind of talk about the other boards and commissions and that kind of stuff. So you'll have, I believe in having one place where you kind of go to. Those of us who don't use the internet for everything, and just want to go to one spot, you'll have a book, your commissioner's book, and you'll be able to delve. And we'll make it big enough because you may be getting additional things that we'll send throughout the course of the year. Just because we're not necessarily meeting, I want to empower the building official as we come across things that we think would be good for you to know about, to be aware about, just in the construction industry generally. And as just to respond to that, and then you'll have it in one spot. Certainly, you'll have cell phone numbers so you can call us directly. We all have city cell phone numbers. I would encourage you, to the extent possible, direct as many questions as you have. Robert's Rules of Order, everything else. You can always call me, but
Thank you.
we'll make sure you have that.
All right.
And you want to?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 6 on the agenda, this Construction Appeals Board meeting is being held to review the board's responsibility. I think we kind of
We covered that.
covered that already. 7 on the agenda, back to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the Construction Appeals Board on any matter within the jurisdiction and not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time. No public. So we'll change 8 in case any other of the commissioners have any comments or concerns. They can do so at this time.
Like most of the stuff you guys will be sending is through email, right? When you guys contact us and stuff like that.
Please use your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Like most of the things you guys will be sending will be through email, like the information that we receive
Yeah,
and all that.
but what Mr. Jackson just mentioned, the book, we can actually, we'll make a binder for you.
Okay,
So
pick
you'll
up.
have a physical, in addition to that, yeah.
I just wanted to take the time. Oh, go ahead.
And I want to add too, one of the things too, because we're not as frequent as other, I'm on staff. Y'all kind of saw me doing some of the stuff earlier, right? And I do that because I believe that the best way to learn, sometimes conflict creates your kind of best outcome, right? We just had Super Bowl, right? That's not everybody hugging. That's conflict, right? And at the end of the day, somebody was victorious, but actually they all were. I remind my kids that every last one of them got paid a bonus for being at the Super Bowl. So losing was winning if we quantified it with money, right? So we would all be feeling pretty good. But I think the other part about that is I want to make sure that we're communicating with you on a kind of more frequent basis. So I would like to see us communicating at least once a month, once every couple of months, some form of communication. Because first of all, I want to make sure when we're reaching out, we want to make sure you're okay. You just mentioned you had some health issues. We want to be there for you, pray for you. We want to make sure that we're doing our part. I'm a minister, so prayer it's just what comes with the territory. But want to make sure that we're communicating with you and we stay dialed in. Because I've literally seen it where commissioners, they still on the name and they passed away. They're still in the books. Nobody even knew that they had passed. Because what happens is when you appoint a new one, the old one stays on, new council representation. They don't know that person probably, and they just haven't added somebody on there. So when we go looking for that person, we find out that they've passed. So that's probably a horrible example, but but I want, but I think the point is to make sure that we're communicating with each other, and then it also gives us an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better. I think that's important. I think it really is. So that was just to respond to yours. That will be a dialogue going on. All right.
Oh, thanks. So I just actually wanted to take the time, first of all, to thank all the staff. I know you are emailing and trying to coordinate, and so, thank you for that. Also, thank you for all the explanations for everything. I did have one comment, or actually, it's more of a question that you may or may not know, but being very active and in the community, and people find out that you're a commissioner on construction, they want to ask you about any issues that they're having, right? So one of the things that's popping up left and right is entire blocks with no power. Um, from the council, we heard that the people were stealing the wires and things like that. Is that something that you know about? Do we have a resolution to that?
SCE, right?
SCE, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that would be directed technically to SCE, and we can sort of facilitate who to perhaps talk to there on your end. We can dig that up a little bit as to what's the best. We have a government liaison.
Attorney Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constance
So
Turner.
yeah, we can include some contact information in there
Yeah.
for SCE, who are
Yes.
government affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Constance. I always want to call her Connie.
Oh, okay,
Constance.
yeah,
Constance.
yeah.
So that way you know who you can reach out to and talk to for kind of the major high
Yeah.
level issues. But the other thing I would encourage you to do, I do is the same with the same commissioner. Talk to your council person. You know what I mean? They appointed you. Call them. Talk to them. They know generally what's going on in the city. And if they don't know, they definitely know who to call because I get a lot of calls. So you understand. So we have our various directors that handle. We have Betty Griffith does sound installation. We have just new appointed HR director Sylvia Fernandez. We have Louis Atwell, who acts as assistant city manager and a public works director. We have Jose Cortez. We have a number of folks, myself, who are in leadership, those are the calls we get from them. So then we know our staff. So what we'll normally do is say, okay, let me get my staff on the phone, and they can guide you through that. One of the things that I think you should become very good at is I call it reflection. You reflect away from what they're asking you for expertise you don't have, so you kind of move it to where it needs to go, right? And so that's the helpful hand that they're looking for when they're asking you questions. They just don't know who to ask. They're not necessarily saying you're supposed to answer the question, and that's Roberto. Hey, how you doing? Roberto's over our housing. He's one of our leaders in housing. And so Section 8, CDBG, HUD, all that stuff, that guy. Amazing leader as well. So yeah, and then I think that's important as you get those questions. And then you can call each other. I think we have an amazing number of commissioners that you can call upon. And trust me, as we develop and grow, we're going to be calling upon you maybe outside of your role as commissioner just to help us understand some issues that we're dealing with. And that's why it's so important. Thank you for the introductions because that helps me get a better idea how we could be of service to each other. So, yes.
Thank you. If there are no other comments from staff or from the commissioners, we will, at 7:05, adjourn this meeting. And we also look to hear from staff about the next agenda meeting that we have. So we'll look for those emails.
Okay.
All right, thank
right.
you.
Thank you.